This is Water Valley Blue Devil Classic Football. This game features the Water Valley Blue Devils and the Ackerman Indians. The game was played on October the 4th, 2002 at Water Valley. The final score was Water Valley 19, Ackerman 21. And now here's Doug Carter and Lane Hart.
As you can see there, the camera's zooming in on the sign. The cheerleaders prepared that says beat the Indians. And you're going to see a big blue mob come out from behind that sign here in just a moment. Hopefully one that's going to be fired up and ready to handle the Ackerman Indians this evening. The Indians won the toss and deferred to the second half, so the Blue Devil offense will take the field first. And we will see what Coach Gary Drury and the coaching staff have come up with to get things underway for the Blue Devil offense. I heard rumblings during the week that we might see a couple of different formations that we haven't seen before tonight.
Well, could very well be, Doug. I mean, this is the time you want to use them. You've been able to go through the season now and not be in a position to where you have to try to use different formations. But this is a big division game, and all you're really focusing on now is doing whatever you got to do to get the win.
And we're about ready as the Coach Dixon gets his special teams unit out there on the field, the kickoff return unit. Back.
Yeah, Ackerman won the toss, and they have deferred to the second half, so the Blue Devils will get the ball to start the game. I personally kind of like that myself, Doug. It's a good opportunity to get your offense on the field, and if somehow or another you can put the first score on the board, that could be a big confidence builder as you start here in the beginning of the game.
Definitely the case, and of course back deep to receive the most dangerous Blue Devil on the field, number 13, Casey Rogers, along with Charlie Edwards and Reggie Morgan back deep to receive. Number 27, Brady Lance will kick off for the Indians.
Anytime they're lined up, bunched up like that, Doug, you always have to be looking for onside kick first.
Yeah, he picks up his tee and moves it over to the hash mark.
Yeah, what he's going to do, Doug, he's setting up to kick a high coverage kick, probably somewhere over here around number 4 or Charlie Edwards, Sobbing Rocket. They're going to try to keep it away from Casey.
Definitely the case. Ball up in the air and goes out of bounds at about the 35-yard line, which is more than likely where the Blue Devils will get the ball with the kick going out of bounds and the resulting penalty.
Well, if you're Ackerman, you might not have necessarily wanted to kick that out of bounds, but you'll take the results because you kept the ball out of Casey Rogers' hands.
But the Blue Devils come out of it with pretty fair field position at the 35-yard line. Or are they going to? Well, they're okay. They were spotting the ball. Actually, went out at the 37-yard line, but they're going to move the ball back for the initial start, back to the 35-yard line for the line of scrimmage to begin with here for the first offensive series for the Blue Devils.
Well, this is a good, like you said, Doug, it's a great opportunity for at least, if anything else, Water Valley to kind of get the field advantage.
Charlie Edwards comes in, and Charlie Edwards out here on the side was uncovered momentarily. They give it to Rico Gillard straight up the middle. And Rico starting out at the tailback slot, Pierre Allen at your fullback, Charlie Edwards and Solomon Rocket were your wideouts. Russell Phillips, your tight end. Gain 4 on the play. Call it 2nd and 6 now from the 39-yard line. Brandon Hawkins in the game along with Rocket. Allen and Gillard in the backfield. Rogers takes the snap. And it's hung up. It looked like maybe a busted play there.
Somebody went the wrong way. I don't know if it was Casey or the running backs, but somebody went the wrong way.
Round up with about 3-yard loss back to about the 36-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down now and about 8.
Well, that's the first mistake of the game right there. First mistake made by the Blue Devils. They were looking at a 2nd down and 2nd down and 6, and now they're looking at a 3rd down and 7.
Hawkins left, Rocket right. Rogers rolls to his left. Charlie Edwards is open on the slant across the middle, and he catches it at the 49-yard line for a Blue Devil touchdown. First down.
I really believe, Doug, if Water Valley is going to have success establishing the running game, they're going to have to do stuff like that: play action pass, try to hit the tight ends, and on quick pass plays, just to back those linebackers up a little bit.
1st and 10 now from the Blue Devil 49-yard line. Just underway here. First offensive series. Solomon Rocket out wide right. Reggie Morgan to the left. They give it to Rico Gillard off the right side. Rico goes into Indian territory down to the 48-yard line. Gain of about 3. 2nd and 7.
Well, that's a tough break there for Rico. He had some running room, and Doug, I really think he tripped over his own man. I think he tripped over number 64, one of his offensive linemen. That's going to be Matt Jackson.
Hawkins and Rocket, your wide receivers. Rogers back to pass. Oh, and he's hammered just as he lets it go, and it's incomplete.
Well, that's the problem Casey had last week, Doug. Every time he dropped straight back to pass, he didn't really have enough time to throw the ball. And they just the blocking is going to have to be better than that. If we're going to be able to throw the ball, we've got to be able to block.
Jerry Lee on the sack. 3rd down now, 3rd down and 7. Reggie Morgan bringing the play in. Split backfield. Rogers on the option, cuts it up the field. Takes it down to the 45, which is going to bring up a 4th down and 4.
I believe the Blue Devils will punt it away here, Doug. If they were a little bit deeper in Ackerman territory, you might see them try to go for it. But you're still out here fairly close to midfield. Ball on Ackerman, just inside Ackerman's 45-yard line. And so I think the Blue Devils are going to try to punt it away and pin them deep. And for Ackerman, it's going to be number 5, Ken Woods. Going to be back deep to receive the punt.
Charlie Edwards will drop back in punt formation. Low snap. Charlie able to get it off. Nice kick. Oh, goodness.
Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
What a kick by Charlie Edwards as he pins Ackerman inside their 5-yard line at their 3.
Perfect punt. Got the perfect bounce. Then Ackerman wasn't able to set up a return, so that's going to force Ackerman now to have to start deep in their own territory. And you can rest assured that one of Ackerman's first things they want to do on offense is establish a run with Mr. Brandon Shoemaker.
And the Indians take over 1st and 10 from their own 3-yard line after the excellent punt there by Charlie Edwards. Number 6, Brent Tolano, the quarterback. Gain of a couple yards on the first play. 2nd and 8. Tolano also pitches for the Indian baseball team. .8:38 and counting left in the first period of play. Zip your score. They pitch it out to Brandon Shoemaker. Shoemaker trying to get the corner, and he got enough, I think, for the first down up around the 13-yard line.
Well, Doug, that's been one of the concerns over the last several weeks for the Blue Devil defense. It seems to be that the inside defensive play, in other words, the play inside the tackles, have been real solid, but where the Blue Devils have shown weakness on defense is out on the corners. And with the speed that Shoemaker's got, you're really going to have to focus and try to contain him, and you have to really come up and lock him up when you tackle him because he'll run through arm tackles.
Shoemaker along with Webster in the backfield. They give it to Webster this time, right up the middle. Takes the ball up across the 15 to about the 17. Gain of about 3, 2nd and 7.
Second and 7 from 17.
or your wide receiver. Alano pitches to Shoemaker. Shoemaker looking to cut it upfield, and Lee Mix catches him from behind and drops him at the 20, at the 20, yeah.
Tell you one thing I saw on that play, Doug, that's really not good if you're Water Valley on defense. Water Valley's shifting. They're swapping to the strong sides. In other words, their tackles and ends are swapping to the strong sides. And while we were in the process of moving and getting set up, Ackerman snapped the ball. So you're gonna have to if you're gonna make your swap, you got to make that swap quick and hurry up and get set.
3rd and 5 here from the 20. Tolano back to pass, under pressure, has a man wide open. That's number 2, Job, and he's gonna go all the way for the score. Touchdown Indians, unless there's barring any penalty flags, which I don't see any. Touchdown Indians.
Well, it was definitely a breakdown in the pass coverage, Doug, because there was nobody on him. I mean, nobody within 15 yards of him, and perfect play-action pass, and that's one of the advantages of having a running back like Shoemaker. You can use him in play-action-wise, and the defense is so concentrated on trying to stop him, and evidently I don't know exactly what happened, but there was a tremendous breakdown in the pass coverage there, because even if he completes the pass, there should be somebody there to make the tackle, and there wasn't. That's the last thing you wanted to see, because you had the advantage of field position, and then you give up the big play, and that's just a killer.
Snap is back, kick is up, and the kick is good, and that makes the score the Ackerman Indians 7, the Water Valley Blue Devils nothing, and we'll be back with kickoff. The Blue Devils give up the big play, and Ackerman Indians score on the 80-yard touchdown pass from Tolano to Job.
And the thing is so frustrating about that, Doug, it's one thing to give up a score, and that's okay, but you want to make them have to drive the length of the field. Water Valley had them pinned back on their own 3-yard line, and you want to, if they're going to score, make them drive 97 yards and score, and don't get, and they just gave up that big 80-yard play, and that's a killer, and it takes the momentum right away from you.
Lance set to kick off for the Indians. Once again, I'm imagining you're going to see this little scenario here probably all night as he takes the kicking tee and moves it over to the right hash mark, and then we'll try once again the high kick. This time, though, they kick it down the middle. Charlie Edwards catches it at about the 25-yard line looking for running room. And Charlie makes his way up across the 35 to almost the 36-yard line, where the Blue Devils will take over 1st and 10.
Pretty smart move there by Charlie, because, they were trying to set up the wall, of course, naturally in the middle of the field. But when it's kicked to that far, to that side, you really just try to get behind what few blockers you got. Maybe you get lucky and get a seam and just get what you can. Once again, though, you can't complain about the field position, because Water Valley is going to get the ball just over their own 35-yard line.
Solo Rocket out wide to the left. Allen and Gillard in the backfield. Gillard over the left side, still on his feet. Takes it across the 40 up to the 41. Gain of about almost 6 on the play.
And if you're Water Valley, you'll take a 6-yard gain on 1st down. That's what you're looking for. 5-6 yards on 1st down, that's a good play.
Brandon Hawkins into the game now as your wide out. Once again, they give it to Gillard. Gillard stopped maybe half a yard on the play, not a whole lot.
Well, one of the problems that they're having is 53 Swagger, and I couldn't tell who the other offensive lineman was, but they were pulling on the play, and Rico ran into them while they were pulling it, which means that the defensive line or the front line of Ackerman's defense is getting a real good push off the ball. In other words, they're pushing your offensive line back, and that's not good because it's going to create commotion in the backfield and disrupt the timing of the play. Another big 3rd down conversion here.
3rd and 4. Rogers hands it off to Gillard. Gillard up the middle through a hole into Indian territory at the 48-yard line.
But Doug, he was just one play away, one defensive player away from busting that. That's a good tackle there by or the defensive back for Ackerman.
First and 10 now from the 48 of the Indians for the Blue Devils. Double tight end set. Hawkins to the left. Rogers gives it to Gillard. Gillard driving with his feet down inside the 45 to the 43-yard line.
That's one thing you like about Rico. Even when he gets tackled, you notice he falls forward, Doug. That's good for at least another and possibly 2 yards if you just fall forward.
Second gain of about 4 on that play. 2nd and 6. Rocket in the game now, out to the left. 4:14 left to go in the first period. Handed off to Gillard. Gillard over the left side, down to about the 41. That's going to bring up 3rd down and about 4.
Now here, Doug. Here's where you might see, depending on what you gain on this play. If you don't pick up the 1st down on this play, then depending on what you gain here, might determine whether or not you go for it on 4th down.
3rd down now. 3rd down and about 4 from the 41. Rogers gives it to Gillard. Gillard with the running room. Inside the 35 to the 34, and a Blue Devil 1st down.
Good job by the offensive line, Doug. Ackerman's trying to, I think Ackerman, at least their defensive line, they tried a couple little stunt moves there, tried to shoot some gaps. Good job by the offensive line to pick that up, create that seam. You just feel like if they'll just keep after it, Rico may break one here because he's just a step or 2 away from busting one off.
1st and 10 now for the Blue Devils from the 34-yard line. Rocket to the right. Rogers rolling right. Looking for Rocket. He's open, and he catches it down at the 25-yard line. Close to another Blue Devil 1st down.
Good catch there by Solomon. Casey threw that into double coverage, but he put it right where you needed to be. Put it right in the seam. And great job of concentration there by Solomon. Blue Devils got a good drive going here. Going to bring up 2nd and short. Nice job of answering the drive or answering the score of Ackerman. They just need to keep consistent and stay after them. The offensive line needs to stay after their blocks.
2nd down and 1 now from the 26. They hand it off to Gillard. And unfortunately, I think he ran into his own man that time. He ran into Big Travis.
Yep, there again, we see Travis is pulling on that play, and Rico's running into the offensive lineman. Actually may have lost a little yardage on that play.
2nd down and about, or make it 3rd down now, and about 2. Double tight end set, Rocket to the right. Rogers looking for a room.
No, he didn't get it. He hit a wall and he was spinning his wheels, Doug.
He was spinning. He gained maybe a yard on forward progress down inside the 25 to about the 24. Well, they don't even give him that. They put the ball with the back of the back end of the football resting on the 25-yard line. That's going to bring up a 4th down and short. And the Blue Devils really need to convert here.
Offensive line really needs to come off the line of scrimmage. If they'll come off the line of scrimmage hard, the initial push will be enough for the 1st down.
Pierre Allen inside the 20, Blue Devil 1st down.
The head referee is giving number 14 for Ackerman. He's giving him a little bit of a warning there. He took a little extra shot at Rico as Rico came down on the line with the option.
1:34 left in the first period of play. 7-0 Ackerman. 1st and 10 now for the Blue Devils with the ball resting on the 20. Rocket goes to the left. Double tight end set. Offset backfield with Allen to the left. They give it to Pierre. Pierre still on his feet, driving forward, takes it down inside the 20 to about the 6 to about the 18-yard line, actually. Gain of about 2 on the play. Pierre actually got held up at the line of scrimmage, but was able to keep his feet driving and get a couple of yards.
Well, something's going on that front line. There's a couple of defensive linemen for Ackerman. I can't make out which, but they're really doing a good job of pushing the offensive lineman of Water Valley back in the backfield, and that's what's causing the commotion.
Rogers gives straight up the middle to Gillard. Gillard takes it down to about the 15-yard line. Gain of a couple on the play. Call it about 3rd down and 5.
Well, I think here now, Doug, especially now, I think now, regardless of what you make on this play, I think Water Valley will go for it here if they don't pick up the first down.
Rocket to the left. Rogers rolls to his left. Looking, got to cut it upfield. Casey still on his feet. Casey running. Casey scores! Touchdown, Blue Devils. And that one, you got to give credit to number 13 because he got it all on his own.
Well, it was a play-action bootleg, Doug. They rolled him out. He faked the off-tackle play, and then he bootlegged to the left. And I thought for a minute he was fixing to throw it. He had his receiver in sight, but it was pretty good coverage there by Ackerman. Didn't want to risk the turnover, and like you said, he just relied on his own ability. Big extra point here.
Drake Dickey's kick is up, and it is good. Tie ball game, 7-7. We'll be back with a kickoff right after this. All right, here we are, 7-all. 4 seconds left in the first period of play, and this one is turned into a good one. The Ackerman Indians get on the board first with the 80-yard touchdown pass from Tolano to Job, and then the Blue Devils get the ball and answer by driving 65 yards with Casey Rogers taking it the final away for the touchdown, and the Drake Dickey extra point is good, and it's 7-all.
Real important here now, Doug, to do a good job covering here. No breakdowns in your coverage.
Croy on the kickoff. Kicks it down to about the 30 where they try to bring it up the field, and the Devil coverage team is there. Tim Ham and crew. And they stop them at about the 34-yard line where the Ackerman Indians take over 1st and 10. And that's the end of the quarter. We'll be back with the second quarter right after this. Start of the second quarter, 1st and 10 from their own 34-yard line. Tolano hands it off Straya right up the middle to Webster. Webster able to take it up to about the 39-yard line. Indians a well-balanced team, but they really like to run the ball with Webster and Shoemaker.
I think that's the case with both teams, Doug. I think the run is the heart and soul, so to speak, of their offense, and then mix in the play-action pass with it.
2 weeks ago, Brandon Shoemaker ran for over 247 yards against Eupora. This time they give it to Shoemaker, going around. Shoemaker in the open, and I don't think Casey's going to be able to catch him. Nope. Shoemaker just outruns him on the end around for an Indian touchdown.
Doug, there was no inside pursuit, Doug. Water Valley did the right thing. They came up and forced the play inside. They kept contained, but there was no inside pursuit from the linebackers on the defense.
Lance now for the extra point attempt. Snap is back, kick is up, and the kick is good, and that makes the score the Ackerman Indians 14, the Water Valley Blue Devils 7. Lance set to kick it off for the Indians here with 11:08 to go in the first half. 14-7 is your score in favor of the Indians, as once again the Indians strike via the big play. Brendan Shoemaker taking it 60-something yards for the touchdown. The Lance extra point was good, and that makes the score 14-7 in favor of the Indians. Once again, the Indians shift over to the right hash mark with the tee.
If they kick it to Casey, it's a mistake.
And it goes right to Charlie Edwards at the 20. Edwards looking for some running room. Still on his feet and gets knocked out of bounds up around the 33-yard line, I believe it is. Not too bad a return by Charlie.
Well, it's one thing to do. The problem that you have as a return team when they do that kick like that, it's really hard to set up your return wall because they're literally kicking it across field. And so it's really not allowing the blockers and the return to get set up. So the return man, whomever it may be, just basically has to catch it, get upfield, and just get what they can.
Ball resting on the 31-yard line of the Blue Devils. 1st and 10 for the Devils. Casey Rogers looking for some running room. Oh, where? I thought I was going to see that yellow flag come out of his pocket because I saw a head snatch. But evidently it wasn't. Ball goes up to the 36-yard line. Gain of about 6 on the play. Second, make it 5. Call it 2nd and 5.
Well, once again, the fact that Ackerman turns right around and answers Water Valley's score, it forces the offense for Water Valley. Now they got to turn around and try to answer this score.
Rocket to the right. Give it to Pierre Allen, and the ball was loose, I believe, on the ground. And Allen was able to recover the fumble. Takes it up over the 35 to the roughly 37.5-yard line, which will bring up 3rd down and about 3. Hawkins out to the right. Rogers pitches back to Rico Gillard, and he is tripped up back at the 30-yard line.
Well, Rico slipped, Doug, but I don't think the slip is what caused that play to be so poorly. I just think the fact that Ackerman pretty much had it read, and it was a good job there by Ackerman defense of defending the option.
4th down now, as with the loss, it goes all the way back to the 31, brings up a 4th and 9. That brings on Charlie Edwards, and let's see if Charlie can get off another good punt.
Charlie Edwards back in punt formation for the Blue Devils. Number 7, Brandon Shoemaker back.
Nice snap. Charlie kicks it, and he's going to get a roll. A nice roll. Oh, what a roll. Down to the 15-yard line. Lane, you can't ask for much better than that.
You're exactly right, Doug. Now it's up to the defense to hold them there. Try to get a 3 and out here. Quit giving up the big play.
Charlie Edwards doing his job tonight as the punter. 2nd excellent punt in a row by Charlie. Let's see, that one was, ooh, he got some yardage on that one. Line of scrimmage being at the 30, that's 20, 30, 40, 55-yard punt. First man through. Number 23 there for the Indians. And that's Eccles.
Well, that's Ackerman's version of their option play. And look here for later on now for him to fake that dive play and come on down the line with the option with Shoemaker.
2nd and 4, or gain of 4 on the play, 2nd and 6. Ball resting on about the 19-yard line. Straight up the middle. Once again, he takes it over the 20 to the 21. Gain of about 2 on the play. Call it 3rd down now and about 4.
Well, this is the big play here, Doug. Every time Ackerman's had a 3rd down, they've been able to convert. And this is an excellent opportunity here for the Devil defense to get a stop and force Ackerman to have to punt it deep out of their own territory. Here's an opportunity now where you can possibly get the field position advantage back.
3rd and 4 for the Indians. One receiver out wide to the left. Snap. Hand it to Shoemaker. Corey Williamson and crew drop him for the big loss all the way back at the 15-yard line.
Great job there. Great job. Corey took on the blocker, but yet he kept his outside shoulder free. In other words, he didn't give up the inside. Shoemaker tried to break it out of the outside, and he was able to contain him.
Jeremy Rocket also in on that play, as now the Indians are forced into a punting situation here on 4th and 9. Edwards and Rogers back deep to receive. That's Gordon back to kick. Low snap. Gets the punt off.
Get away from that one. Get away from that one.
Ball hits and is down at the 42-yard line. We'll take a break and be right back. Looking for the end around. Charlie Edwards on the reverse. Takes it down inside the 35 to the 33-yard line, and that was almost a face mask there as he just missed him.
Well, Charlie did a good job of making that first defender miss. There was a defender for Ackerman in the backfield, but Charlie was able to make him miss. Wound up picking up a good 7-8 yards on the play.
Corey Williamson into the ball game now. Pierre Allen comes out as Corey takes over the fullback slot. Motion penalty as Corey was a little antsy.
And see, Doug, that could be very well from not playing. He's been out a good 3 weeks now, hadn't been in a game situation now in 3 weeks, and that could very well be the problem there. Boy, you hate to see that too, because that's going to make it now second in the long. Going to make it now second and about 7.
Illegal motion, illegal procedure on the play against the Blue Devils. Back ball goes back to the 39-yard line. Second down now at about 8. As the first down marker is at the 31-yard line. Rocket out wide to the right. Rogers gives it to Gillard. Gillard off the right side, looking for running room. Down to close to first down yardage. And Rico Gillard is just chewing the yards up tonight. 3rd and short, probably going to be about less than a yard really here for the Blue Devils.
Now here's where I'd really consider giving that dive to the fullback. I'd give it to Corey and just let him pound it in there, see if he can't get that first down.
3rd and short, offset formation in the backfield. That's what they do. They give it to Corey Williamson. Corey straight ahead, breaks a couple of tackles, lowers his shoulder and takes it down to about the 26-yard line. First down, Blue Devils.
Looks like we got an Ackerman player down on the field, Doug. I can't really tell who that is. He's slow to get up.
And you got a timeout, and we'll take a break right here and be right back. (14-7) in favor of the Indians. Blue Devils with the ball, driving 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Casey Rogers on the option, cuts it up the field, down inside the 15 to the 13. Close to another Blue Devil first down.
Tell you something too, Doug, and I've noticed on number 4 for Water Valley, that's Solomon Rocket. Looks like to me he's twisted his ankle on a couple of previous series, and he looks like he's really tender on that ankle.
1st and 10 now from the 13-yard line for the Blue Devils. Brandon Hawkins in the game, out to the left. Double tight end set. Williamson and Gillard in the backfield. Rogers takes it up the field inside the 10 down to about the 7-yard line. Make it the 6.
4:23 and counting in the half. Plenty of time. You've got plenty of time. No need to panic here. You've got all 3 timeouts left.
Second down here in about 3. Ball resting on the 6. Rocket out to the left. Rogers looking up the field, dives.
He's inside the 5, Doug.
He's inside the 5. That's going to be, he's down at about the 1. That's going to be 1st and goal from the 1.
Now Doug, here's where it's really important. You need to call on that big offensive line. Look, guys, we're knocking on the door. We're just 1 yard away. Come off the ball and let's shove it down their throat.
Let's kick the door in. We outside. Let's kick it in. First and goal from the 1. Wishbone backfield. Pierre Allen fumbles. And who recovered? Touchback. The Ackerman Indians recover. And the Indians recover it in the end zone as the fumble bug bites the Blue Devils in the behind. And the Ackerman Indians dodge a big old bullet. Indians get the ball first and 10 on the 20. And the Devil defense really under pressure here.
Indians take over first and 10 from the 20.
Shoemaker in a wingback slot. Talano hands it off. And Shoemaker takes it up to about the 23-24 yard line. Gain of about 4 on the play. 2nd and 6. Make it 3. Call it 2nd and 7.
Get a 3 on the play, brings up 2nd and 7 from the 23.
.252 and counting in the first half. 14-7 Ackerman. As the Indians just dodged a big bullet as the Devils had it first and goal on the 1 and fumbled in the end zone. Talano back to pass. Hits Webster out in the flat, and Brandon Hawkins is there for the tackle up around the 35-yard line, but the Indians get the first down.
Well, Doug, it's imperative now that Water Valley just needs to hold them. Whether you get the ball back with an opportunity to score before the half is really irrelevant. You just want to keep them out of the end zone.
Keep the score where it is and just hope for better things in the second half. First and 10, Indians from their own 36. Receiver out wide. Penalty marker is big number 74 for the Indians. Edges forward, just a little antsy. Illegal procedure against the Indians.
I think it's just the second penalty of the game.
First and 15 now from the 31-yard line. And one thing that you've seen from the Devil defense that you haven't seen tonight is pressure on the quarterback. He hadn't had a Blue Devil defender in his face, I don't think, but maybe on one occasion all night. First player through was Webster. And they had so many folks in motion there as they were handing the ball off. I don't know who had the ball. Gain of about 2 on the play, 2nd and 8. Ball resting at the 37-yard line. 2:17 to go in the half. Penalty markers. Believe Ackerman may have jumped again. They're backing up.
That's what it looks like.
No, it's offside against the Blue Devils. Brings up a 2nd down now and about 4. Or make it 3, 2nd and 3 actually.
Brings up 2nd and 4 from the 42.
Under 2 minutes. Fumble on the play. Talano with the ball, and he is crushed. Drop back to the 40-yard line, We're going to bring up a third down now and about 6.
Brings up 3rd and 6 from the 40 for the Indians.
Job out wide to the right. Solano rolling, looking.
Nice catch.
Webster. And he got enough for the first down as Reggie Morgan and Rogers were able to tackle him at about the 46.5-yard line, which is going to be enough, I'm thinking, to depend on where they spot the ball.
That was a nice catch there by the receiver for Ackerman. Ball was almost overthrown. He was able to haul that thing in with one hand.
Just enough for the first down. 1st and 10 Indians from their own 46-yard line.
You got to be careful here,
Under a minute.
Got to be careful here now.
Don't want to give up the big play.
Ackerman's in a position here as far as field position goes. Look for any kind of trick play. Reverse, a hook and ladder, screen, anything tricky. They're in a position now where they can try some of that.
2 wing backs. Shoemaker out in the pattern. Solano heaves it downfield. Almost intercepted by Reggie Morgan. 27.5 seconds left. 2nd and 10.
Good coverage there. It's real good coverage. They didn't let the receiver get behind them, and we actually got a little bit of pressure on the quarterback then. Corey Williamson, they would put a pretty good lick on him when he threw the ball.
Solano comes back into the huddle with the play from the sideline now. Shoemaker at a wing back. Webster is your lone setback. 2 split receivers. Solano back to pass. Oh my goodness, and he still caught it. I thought that one was intercepted. Jeremy Rocket was in position to intercept it, and Shoemaker manages to make the reception.
And I think Ackerman's called a timeout, Doug.
We'll take a break and be right back. All right, here we are. 3rd down and about 5 yards to go as we come out of this timeout with 17.8 seconds left to go as Tolano just completed that pass to Shoemaker right through the hands of Jeremy Rocket over there. Matter of fact, I thought Rocket had intercepted it for a second, and I think Jeremy did too, for that matter.
Well, 17.9 to go in the half. It's 3rd down and about 4. Once again, Doug, you got to be looking for some kind of trickery here. Ackerman still got 2 timeouts left.
Tolano way back.
It's going to be a screen.
Screen to Shoemaker. Charlie Edwards manages to tackle him out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Nice pursuit there by Edwards.
And the thing about it is, Doug, they slid out of bounds, but he actually was tackled in bounds. That kept the clock going now. Ackerman's got to burn a timeout with 5.3 to go. Great job of recognition there by Charlie.
Timeout, and we'll take a break and be right back. 5.3 seconds left in the half. You got a 4th down and 4 from the 47-yard line. And basically, the Blue Devils just don't let anybody get behind you. Two receivers. Shoemaker is at the wing back.
And you got to know where he is at all times.
Heaves it up. Solo Rocket. Excellent defensive play there by Rocket as he breaks it up.
And that
as time expires. That's the end of the first half play. 14-7 Ackerman. 14-7 is your score in favor of the Ackerman Indians. I guess you could say the difference-making play occurred right there during the late 2nd quarter when the Water Valley Blue Devils had it 1st and goal on the 1-yard line and fumbled as we were about to try and take it into the end zone. The Ackerman Indians recovered in the end zone for a touchback, and that kept the score at 14-7.
Well, that's definitely one play that you're going to look back on, and regardless of the outcome of the game, you're going to kind of kick yourself in the butt, so to speak, because you didn't punch it in. But now you got to focus on the second half, Doug, and Ackerman's going to receive the football to start the second half. And And I really can't stress how important it is going to be for the Blue Devil defense to come out and get a stop on this first possession. The last thing you want to do
Just let them have another big play.
Is let Ackerman come out here and put a score on the board to start the second quarter, because then that kind of puts you behind the 8 ball a little bit. That puts you 2 scores down. And so it's going to be imperative that Water Valley's defense hold Ackerman's offense. And hopefully we can get this thing tied up. And you just feel like that once you can get it tied up, then you can go back to work. No reason really to abandon the game plan right now, but the defense really needs to come out and make a stand. Look for some adjustments from Ackerman on offense. They've had a half. They've seen what Water Valley's defense is doing. So they're going to probably make a couple adjustments here offensively to start the second half.
Shoemaker back deep to receive. Croy will kick off for the Blue Devils. Nice high kick, goes down, caught at about the 20. And he submarines forward over the 30 to about the 32, where the Indians will take over 1st and 10. Spot the ball at about the 32.
Indians take over 1st and 10 from the 32.
Keep in mind now, Ackerman has yet to commit a turnover, and the Water Valley Blue Devils have committed 1.
Shoemaker at the tailback position. Tolano rolls to his left, looking downfield, has a receiver open. It's Job. And just what we said we didn't want to, you couldn't afford to have happens on the first play from scrimmage.
Well, they took the play action fake, Doug. The defensive back even bit fake. That's the last thing in the world you need to do. Defensive backs have got to play pass first. Until they know for sure it's a run, you got to play pass. And you're absolutely right, Doug. That just kind of busts the bubble to begin with, and now you really got to turn and burn now.
Lance in for the PAT.
27, Brady Lance will take the point. It was the
Low snap. The kick is good. Just barely, but it's good, and that makes the score 21-7 in favor of the Ackerman Indians, and we'll be back right after this. All righty, here we are, just underway in the second half of play, and the Indians with a 60-something yard pass play from Tolano to Job.
I believe it's going to be 65, Doug.
On the board again with the touchdown, and that has been the key to the Indians scoring tonight, the big play.
Well, their first score was 85, their first score was 80. Their second score was 65, and now their third score was 65. And it really, the thing about it on that particular play, Doug, it really wasn't a breakdown in coverage. It was just more or less the defensive back came up and bit the play fake.
Lance will once again kick it off from the right hash mark. And the kick goes in the general direction of Charlie Edwards at about the 20. Edwards picks up some blockers, looking for some running room before he's finally pushed out of bounds. Over around the, so they're going to mark it at about the 31-yard line again. Where the Blue Devils will take over 1st and 10.
Actually, Doug, it looks to be more like around the 34.
Okay. Make it the 34 then is where they're going to mark it.
Well, Doug, it really kind of puts the pressure on your offense now. You're down 14 points, and well, you just about have to answer the score. You got to answer the score with a touchdown yourself.
Brandon Hawkins wide right, Williamson and Gillard in the backfield. And defensive penetration into the backfield there by number 61 of the Indians. That's Chris Davis. and he drops Casey Rogers for about a 4-yard loss.
Well, he shot the gap. He shot the gap, and somebody missed him. Tell you right now, man, the air is really out of the Blue Devils right now. You can kind of see that they're just not very intense at the moment.
Casey Rogers on the carry, and the Ackerman Indian defense has just come out here looking to hit somebody in the second half.
Well, it's not the ideal situation if you're Water Valley on offense. You got third now and about 14. And you really don't want to give the ball right back to Ackerman because, buddy, they got the momentum right now.
Hawkins to the left. Williamson and Gillard in the backfield. Rogers rolls. Intercepted. Intended, I think, for Charlie Edwards on the slant. And number 5 there had the ball, and he kept trying to move, but he wasn't going much of nowhere because Big Travis had him in the headlock.
Well, it's a bad mistake there by Casey, Doug. He was rolling to his right, and he tried to throw back across. He tried to throw back across the field, and he threw it back into the coverage. And boy, the defense is really they really got to come out and get a stop here. Water Valley needs a turnover here.
Blue Devil defense now, we'll see what they're made of. Indians pitch it back to Shoemaker. Penalty marker on the play. Shoemaker still on his feet. Finally slung out of bounds down around the 10-yard line. But there's a marker on the play. See what that is. Illegal procedure against the Indians, and negates a fine run there by Shoemaker. Mark it off, and that's going to make it now. First and 15 here from the Blue Devil 44-yard line. 9:59 left in the third period of play. 21-7 in favor of the Ackerman Indians.
I think, Doug, I really believe if Water Valley is going to have a shot at them, they got to get a stop here, and they need to put a score on the board before the third quarter ends.
Shoemaker skirts through, breaking some tackles, and Casey Rogers tackles him down at about the 35-yard line.
I tell you, number 6 for Water Valley had an opportunity to make a play on him, Reggie Morgan. Reggie tried to tackle him by diving at his ankles, and I can pretty much tell you what the result of that's going to be.
Second down now, second down at about 5. Give it to Webster, and Webster is stopped. Fumble on the play.
They're going to rule him down.
They're going to rule him down.
I think that was the right call, Doug. I think he was on the ground. I think the ball popped loose after he hit the ground. Ground cannot cause a fumble. Big play right here now for Water Valley on defense. Third down and about 5, maybe 6, long 5, 6 yards here. Opportunity now here to get a stop.
4th and 6 from the 34, excuse me.
Watch the play action.
Reset.
I can't believe that.
They didn't call it. They give it to Shoemaker, and Russell Phillips wraps him up at about the 34-yard line. Little or no gain on the play, and I don't understand that one. He clearly came out of his stance and moved.
Well, he can, Doug. He can come out and go in motion, Doug, but that was not the plan. He was not supposed to go in motion, and the running back thought he messed up. So he stopped and reversed his direction, and that's the penalty.
4th down and 5 from the 34. Defense really needs to stop here to
Power I here, new
turnover.
formation here.
And he is stopped as they give it to number 40, Denta Davis.
All right, that's what Water Valley needed. The defense came in and got the stop. Now you got to get busy here and get a score. You got 7:49 now to go in the third quarter. Clock stops on change of possession. So if you can get a score here and get this thing within 7 points to go into the fourth quarter, you got a shot at them.
Rocket out right. Williamson and Gillard in the backfield. Give it to Williamson, the first carry through, the first man through, and he takes it up to about the 34. Gain of about 2 on the play. Call it 2nd and 8.
Get 2 on the play, brings up 2nd and 8 from 34.
Brandon Hawkins in the game now, out to the right. Casey checks it off at the line. First back through is Williamson. Williamson up to about the 38.
Big 3rd down conversion here now. Going to be 3rd and about 4.
3rd down, a short 4, long 3. Ball on the 39-yard line. They need to get to about the 43. Casey Rogers takes it across the 40 to the 41.
Boy, that could have been disastrous because it was the option play, and they stuffed Corey. That play was originally designed for Corey, and they stuffed Corey right there at the line of scrimmage. And Casey
manages to get at least a couple of yards out of it to make it 4th and short. As a matter of fact, they're going to call for the measurement. It's going to be short. I don't even know. I'm not real sure.
Well, I like the fact, Doug, that they're going to come in and measure, because if you're Water Valley and you're Coach Drury, at least they'll come in and measure, and you can get a very good idea of just how much you need to get the first down here. Down 14 points, I really believe that you probably should go for it. But now you do have the option. You can try to punt it and pin them deep and hopefully get a turnover out there.
You're almost a yard and a half short. Well, put it right at a full yard short with where the ball is marked. The ball is resting on the 41. You've got to get it just past the 42 for the first down.
I think Coach Drury's going to punt it away. I think you made a good point, Doug. It was a good yard and a half. I think if they just had about 4th and inches or 4th and maybe less than a yard, you probably would have seen him go for it. But on this particular drive or the first 2 offensive series that Water Valley has had, Ackerman's been able to get penetration into the backfield, and I think that could be in the back of Coach Drury's mind.
Edwards gets another nice high hanging punt off, and Taleno catches it at the 29-yard line, where the Indians will start over 1st and 10.
3 and out, be real big here, Doug. 3 and out, try to make Ackerman punt it deep out of their own territory here and hopefully get an advantage back with some field position.
First and 10 for the Indians from the 29-yard line. 6:08 left to go in the third period of play, 21-7 in favor of Ackerman. Taleno, option, pitches it back to Shoemaker. You just cannot. And they finally run him out of bounds. Solomon is really gimpy over there on that ankle.
And Casey Rogers comes up grabbing his hamstring. But you're right, Doug. You can't dive at Shoemaker's feet. You'll miss him every time. They had that play covered. They had it covered. They had it stopped in the backfield, Water Valley did, and just that one missed tackle. Casey gets up grabbing his hamstring. I don't know if it's a cramp. I don't know if he actually pulled it.
1st and 10 from midfield. First man through, and he is stuffed at the line. And with his drive, maintaining his drive forward, he picks up a yard to the 49.
And the one on the play brings up 2nd and 9 from the 49.
Counting down to 5:25 now to go in the quarter. And as each second ticks off, you say, well, you're only in the 3rd quarter, but like I said, you're down 2 touchdowns.
2nd and 9, Shoemaker on the carry. And Edwards and Morgan able to stop him at about the 44-yard line.
Be careful here now, Doug. Look for that play-action pass again. Look for that play-action pass and some sort of bootleg.
3rd and 4. Rogers back in the ball game.
Third down, 3rd and 4 from the 44 for the Indians.
They hand it off to big number 40, and he is stuffed. Big Matt Jackson, Walter Fleming, Jeremy Rocket, along with big Josh Sims, stuff him at the line. Loses a couple of yards.
Here comes Shoemaker back in the game now. It looks like they may be going to go for it. Now, if you're Water Valley on defense, now you need to really concentrate on the football. They may try to draw you off sides here and pick up this 1st down. Shoemaker's in the game, though, but you got to be sure you know where he is.
4th down now and about 3. Shoemaker and Webster in the game. They try the hard count, and the Indians take a timeout. .351 left in the 3rd period of play. 21-7 is your score in favor of the Indians. Indians with a 4th and 3 from the Blue Devil 43.
Got to watch the fake here, Doug. Now, this is perfect field position here now to try to pull off a fake.
One man back, and that's Casey Rogers. Snap back, he fumbles it. Oh my goodness, and they run into the kicker, but they're not going to call it.
Well, the referee said the ball was tipped.
Yeah. Josh actually got a hold of the ball. Yeah, that's why they didn't call it. Of course, Ackerman thinks their punter got roughed.
It's close. I couldn't tell if the ball got tipped or not, but at least that's what the head referee signaled that it got tipped.
And he was right there at it.
If the ball did not get tipped, then it would have been roughing the punter.
Water Valley with the ball on their own 18, or make it the 19-yard line, 1st and 10.
They're going to take over 1st and 10 from the 18.
Rocket out to the right. Rogers straight ahead to Rico Gillard. Gillard up through the middle up to about the 22. Gains about 3. Looks like Coach Drury has decided to go back to the horse that got him here.
And Doug, it's not too late to do that. You don't necessarily have to be panicking here. I mean, it would be nice if you could score before the quarter ended, and it just puts you down 7 points going into the 4th quarter.
Rico Gillard, one man to beat, still on his feet. What a run by Rico Gillard, all the way to the 22-yard line.
Well, Doug, we kept saying he was just one step away from busting a big one, and there it was.
And all of a sudden, you can hear the Water Valley crowd spring to life.
Number 2 for Ackerman.
Job.
Yeah, Job,
the recipient of those 2 long touchdown passes.
he was able to reach out and just barely grab his jersey. He was just within an arm reach, and that's what prevented that play from being a touchdown. But we knew we were close. We knew we were close, and Coach Drury kept going and going, and then bam, we busted it right there. Now you're down here where you got to score. You got to take advantage of this.
Rogers back to pass. Oh my goodness, and he's picked off. He was looking for Rocket, and Job was just reading his eyes all the way. Returns it all the way back to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, poor decision there by Casey. That ball really shouldn't have been thrown. Job was sitting there waiting on it, and that's a killer.
First and 10 for the Indians now from the 39-yard line, as once again the Ackerman Indians have a charmed life tonight because they keep dodging bullets left and right.
Well, when you're a good football team, Doug, that's what happens. Good football teams don't panic, and they take the fumble.
Fumble on the play. Who recovers? The Blue Devils come off the bottom of the pile with it. And if ever a team needed that turnover, this Blue Devil squad needed that one.
Well, Casey's got new life. I'm sure he was pretty depressed there when he threw that interception, but he's got new life here, and he needs to take advantage of it. Number 54 for the Blue Devils, he comes off a little gimpy.
Solomon Rocket out to the left. Williamson and Gillard in the backfield. They hand it off again to Gillard. Gillard with the ball, still on his feet, struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage. Call it a 1-yard loss on the play. 2nd and 11 from the 41. Coming up on 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Brandon Hawkins out to the left. Rogers rolling. And he's tackled at about the 37-yard line.
Well, that play to Doug, it was a bootleg pass. It was designed to be a throw, and he had Charlie coming across the middle, but he was under so much pressure he never could pull up and get his feet set.
3rd down now and about 7. And here you're in 4-down territory.
Oh, yeah, with a minute 22 and counting to go in the third quarter, down 14 points, I believe you have to. This play's coming a little bit late now. They don't need a delay of game penalty here.
Rocket out to the right. Williamson and Gillard in the backfield. Rogers heaves one for Solomon Rocket. And
that's good coverage.
That's good coverage out there by Job. He just reached up and slapped it away. The pass was there, but Job was just in position and knocked it away.
Just a little bit underthrown. If Casey could have got that thing a little bit higher to the outside, Solomon would have had a chance at it. I don't know if he would have caught it, but he would have had a chance at it. It was a little bit underthrown. That's what allowed Joe to be able to get a hand on it.
4th and 7 now. Hawkins outside to the right. Rogers looking for some running room. Casey Rogers.
Going to be a little short, Doug.
No, there was a fumble at the end of the play. Or are they going to call him down?
That's going to be close. The side judge pointed down on the ground like he was down, like they were ruling him down. Now, whether or not it was enough for the first down, I don't know. I think he's a little short. He had to get past the 30 or inside the 30-yard line.
Depending on where they mark the ball.
Looks like they're going to measure.
I can't see where they've got the ball spotted at this time. It's inside the 30. Lane, it's going to be real close.
I think he had to get about a yard inside the 30, Doug, and it looks to be just inside the 30. You're right, Doug. It's going to be oh so close. Yep, he's a little short.
Folks, we're talking inches short here. Less than 3. Just couldn't quite get it there. 1st and 10 in the opposite direction for the Indians.
Well, it was 2 golden opportunities there for the Blue Devils, and they just couldn't produce.
Indians ball, 1st and 10 from their own 30. Solano rolling, hits Webster. And Rocket.
And Doug, number 2, Job, was wide open again. That was 6. And I just don't know if the quarterback just didn't see him, but 2, Job, was wide open again. And Coach Drury knows it.
1st and 10 for the Indians from the 46. One receiver right. Pitch it back to Shoemaker. And Shoemaker is tackled at 49 after a gain of about 3.
Second and 7 from the 49.
And Ackerman probably just going to let the quarter expire. We're down to 10 seconds, and it's going to probably let the quarter run out here.
Very likely that will be the case. That's the end of the quarter, and we'll take a break and be right back with the 4th quarter after this. All right, we're back here now. Beginning of the 4th quarter of play. 21-7 is your score in favor of the Ackerman Indians. And the Blue Devils missed a couple of just real golden opportunities here in the 3rd quarter to possibly get up. A couple of interceptions and a turning over on down situation. But the Devil defense has, with the exception of that opening play of the 2nd half, the Devil defense has contained the Indians so far.
Well, they've given the offense a couple of opportunities to get back in the game, and they just hadn't done it.
Fumble! I believe the Blue Devils have recovered. Walter Fleming comes up off the bottom of the pile with a football.
I tell you, Doug,
you got to cash this one
Ackerman is giving Water Valley every opportunity in the world to get back in this football game. Sooner or later, you've got to convert. You've got to capitalize on this.
1st and 10 Blue Devil football from their own, from the Indian 47. Just underway here in the 4th quarter.
You've got possession, just a few seconds ran off the clock. It's 11:54 to go in the 4th quarter. If you can put one in the end zone here, you're in the football game.
Rogers. And he's tripped up there at for a couple of yard loss.
Well, it's obvious, Doug, that at halftime, Ackerman's defense made an adjustment, and they've shut that play down. They've really shut the inside running game down here in the 2nd half for Water Valley. So now Water Valley has to kind of counter-adjust. They need to recognize that and adjust off of that.
2nd down now, 2nd down and 12 from the 49. Brandon Hawkins out wide right. Gillard inside the 50, back to about the 49.
They're going backwards.
No gain on the play. Call it 3rd and about 12.
Need to hurry up, Doug. Plays late coming in. They're not going to get it off.
Penalty marker. Delay a game against the Blue Devils. And that makes a 3rd and 12 a 3rd and 17. To get first down yardage, you've got to get the ball down to safely, I'd say, the 37
right here,
yard
you just want to get enough yardage to have a legitimate shot at it.
Rogers backs to pass, has some running room on the outside if he can break the tackles and stay on his feet. But there's a penalty marker on the other side. Rogers down the sideline. He's finally caught inside the 10, but there's a penalty marker down. And what is that penalty marker is going to be the determining factor here. Face mask against the Indians.
I think what happened, Doug, when Casey broke loose and he stiffed on him, I think that the defensive back grabbed the face mask. And once again, Water Valley is in great shape here to get back into this football game. Unbelievable run by Casey. Unbelievable run by Casey.
Managed to maintain his balance, and once he got into the open, he turned his speed on. And now with the penalty, you wind up with the ball.
It's 1st and goal on about the 5.
First and goal on about the 4-yard line. Here, needless to say, got to hang on to the football.
Power, full house backfield.
Straight ahead to Corey Williamson. Corey still on his feet trying to drive forward. They're going to spot him down at about the 2. Well, they mark it at about the 3. 2nd and goal from the 3.
So Water Valley's taking too long to get out of the huddle. And they're coming out of the huddle looking confused.
And I'm not sure who had the ball on that one.
I think it was Corey.
I think it was Corey on the straight ahead carry. He didn't get much, maybe another yard down to the 2. Maybe.
Now's the time when you might want to consider the play action pass. It's 3rd down, so you got 2 cracks to get into this thing, to get in the end zone.
3rd and goal from the 2. Charlie Edwards out wide left. Once again, they go with a wishbone formation in the backfield. Rogers. Lost yardage back to about the 5. And now you're looking at 4th down and goal.
Hey, I agree with this call here by Coach Drury. He's going to call a timeout here and talk about it.
The Blue Devils will take a timeout. 21-7. Blue Devils at the door. 4th down and goal here from the 5-yard line.
Devils I believe, Doug, if Water Valley is going to have any chance of winning this football game, they have got to score here. Because it's 8:44 now to go in the game, and you're down 14 points.
Double tight end set. One single back in the backfield with some wing backs. Rogers rolls, looking for Solomon Rocket, and he catches it in the end zone. Touchdown! The old drag him across the back of the end zone play, and it works. And I was wondering if Solomon was going to be able to stay on his feet to catch that ball. He was limping pretty bad.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what the play was. It was some kind of maybe a tight end under or a receiver under, but they sprinted Casey out to the right a little bit, and they ran the receiver back underneath the defense. Water Valley didn't have enough players on the field.
Penalty marker on the play, but the kick is good. But now there's a marker on the play.
Water Valley didn't have enough players on the field. Coaches were trying to get a timeout. That's going to go against Water Valley. Water Valley did not have enough players on the field. Once again, Doug, a lapse in the special teams.
Legal procedure against the Blue Devils.
called against the Blue Devils.
They still don't have enough players on the field.
After the yardage kick is up,
And he missed.
no good, and he missed it. The penalty yardage cost us the extra point. That's 21-13. We'll take a break and be right back. Ready to kick it off here as Croy will kick it off for the Blue Devils. 8:38 left. 21-13 is your score as the Indians lead by 8.
Well, now it forces you. Well, first of all, you got to hold them and get the ball back. Now it forces you to have to go for 2. That was huge. That was huge. At 1 point is huge.
Troy puts it up in the air, bounces around, and wisely the Indian player just falls on it at his own 35-yard line. Now the Blue Devil defense has to step up here and try and get a quick 3 and out.
Ackerman's offense now has turned this thing over a couple of times here in the second half. So now's the time your defense you want to get aggressive. There, Ackerman's offense might be a little shy here, but now you're talking about Water Valley's bread and butter, or give it to the horse that brung you. That's who I'd give it to if I was Ackerman. I'd put the ball in the number 7 hands.
And that's who back to pass, complete out to Webster. And Charlie Edwards knocks him out of back. Oh! I'm sorry, I disagree with that one. It was close, but nah. And that's gonna tack more yardage on the end of Webster's run. As they're gonna call late hit on Charlie, but that's their call. That wasn't the way I saw it.
And I mean, just in the blink of an eye, here's Ackerman back in Water Valley territory. You've gotten back into the ball game, Doug, and then bam, Ackerman hits a big play, and that's a credit to them. They're the defending 2A state champions, and that's why. That's why they make big plays when it's time to make big plays.
1st and 10 from the 34. Solano. Well, I thought there was a Webster carries forward to the 30.
And you got to believe if you're Water Valley on defense, you're going to have to hold them for 4 downs.
Second down and 7. Pitch it back to Shoemaker. Shoemaker looking for running room. Still on his feet. And Rocket finally wraps him up down about the 16-yard line.
Trying to tackle his feet, Doug. Shoemaker slow getting up.
And he's to his feet.
Ackerman can't score here. You cannot let them score here. They score here, and it could very well be over with because it's 7:40 now to go in the game.
Shoemaker has to go out of the game because they did call the official timeout for the injury, so Shoemaker has to go out at least one play. Solano comes back in with the play from the sideline. 1st and 10 here from the 15-yard line. Webster at your tailback spot. They give it to Webster. Webster looking for running room. And they tackle him down inside the 15 at about the 14. Tim Ham on the tackle.
And Ackerman, they're going to take their time. They're going to try to let as much time to run off the clock. It's 6:50 now in county.
2nd down and 7 for the Indians at the 14. Solano to Webster, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage. Means maybe a yard.
Shoemaker coming back in the game now, Doug. You got to be sure that you spot him now. You know, you got to know where he is when he's in the game.
3rd and 7 as there was little or no gain on that play. 2 big plays here for the Blue Devil defense. Receiver out wide to the left. Job at a wingback slot. Watch for him. Solano back looking. Oh, and he says almost sacked. Tim Ham. They're still after him. Fumble on the ball. Oh, my goodness, and the Ackerman Indians recover it. Holy moly.
That's huge, Doug. That's a huge sack. Surely Water Valley had a chance to get the ball, but that backs them way back, and this 4th down and long now.
Tim Ham and Charlie Edwards were putting the heat on Solano. Takes them all the way back to the 27-yard line. 4th down now and about 20.
I think Ackerman's going to let the clock run down as much as they can, and they're going to probably call a timeout here. Fixing to hit 5:02, 5:01, 5 minutes.
They may just take the delay of game penalty.
And he called the timeout.
And he calls the timeout.
4:54.
21-13 in favor of the Ackerman Indians, and the Indians facing a 4th down and 25 from the Blue Devil 27-yard line. Job out to the left. Shoemaker and Webster in the backfield. Shoemaker goes in motion. Solano rolls way back. They set up the screen to Webster. He slips, and Lee Nix wraps him up at the 21-yard line. Blue Devil football there.
I like the call, though, by Ackerman, Doug. They put Shoemaker in motion to the right, thinking that might get the defense's attention going to the right, and they ran a little screen back here to the left side, and yet it's a safe play. It's not a high-risk play. If you get a couple of blocks, he might break it, but nevertheless, it's a safe play.
And now the Blue Devils face 79 yards of green grass between them.
And there's plenty of time now. It's 4:43 to go in the game. You've got 2 timeouts left. Still no need to panic here, but you got to get the plays in and out. You got to get out of the huddle quicker.
Rocket to the left. Williamson and Gillard in the backfield. Rogers looking for some running room, cuts it up through the middle, looking for room. Dances his way up to about the 27-yard line, and that's about the only term you can say for it. Is he was swaying left and right, dodging and ducking, and brings up a 2nd and about 4.
If you're Water Valley now, after the play's over with, you got to pop up and get in the huddle. 4:15 and ticking.
Casey. The hook and ladder to Pierre Allen down the sideline.
He's going to go.
Has he got enough? Pierre Allen scores! Touchdown Blue Devils on the hook and ladder to execution. Woo!
Perfect. The timing was just right now, Doug. Now you got to go for 2. This is huge. You got to go for 2.
You got to go for 2 here.
And if I'm Coach Drury here, I might consider calling a timeout here.
And Ackerman calls timeout. We'll take a break and we'll be back after this. After one of the most exciting plays you'll probably see in a long time, Pierre Allen off the old hook and ladder play goes for the touchdown.
Well, Doug, it's needless to say, we don't have to tell you how big this two-point conversion is. If by some chance Water Valley doesn't convert, you've got a decision to make. Do you go for the onside kick, or do you kick it away and hope you can stop them and use your timeouts to help control the clock? If you make it, then sure, yeah, you kick it away if you convert here.
3:49 to go, 21-19. Big two-point conversion. Folks, big ain't the word.
They've moved the ball over to the far hash. Got an overload to the right here. Look for something sprinting out to the right.
Rogers rolls right, looking, and it's intercepted in the end zone as it was tipped. They were looking for Reggie Morgan coming across the back of the end zone, and he was there, but one of the Ackerman defenders got his hands on it. Excellent coverage, excellent defense by Ackerman. You got to give them credit. And the score remains 21-19. And now, as you say, Lane, the Devils have a decision to make.
I believe you got an onside kick it here, Doug, because you really just, because Ackerman's got the talent, they've got the ability to run this clock out. They've got the running backs, they've got the control offense. They've got the skill, I guess is what I'm trying to say, to run this clock out. So you don't want to give it really back to them. So I think you got an onside kick it here. Of course, Ackerman's going to put their hands teams out there. They're going to put their people out there that's got the good hands. Now the key is going to be, and it looks like Drake Dickey's going to be the one to kick it. The ball's going to be kicked from the 40, so it's got to go 10 yards. So it's got to get at least to the 50.
The ball has to go at least to the 50.
And you want to get that big high hop. You want to squib it enough to where you get that big high hop.
Drake Dickey sets it up on the near hash mark. Big kickoff here. Well, that was somebody touched something somewhere in there. Who recovered it?
Well, the ball definitely didn't go 10 yards. But now I'm curious to know if it touched an Ackerman player.
Ackerman comes out with it. 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line of the Blue Devils.
You got to kick that a little firmer than that. You got to kick it a little bit harder, and hopefully you can get that ricochet. But like we said, it didn't go 10 yards. Now, Coach Drury and Water Valley, you're going to have to stop them. Maybe not call a timeout right away. You might let them run first down, stop them, and then let them run second down, and then use the timeout.
3:49 to go here.
And you've got to tackle. You've got to do a good job of tackling. You can't reach out there and try to grab arms and ankles. You've got to tackle.
Shoemaker is your tailback. They hand it to Shoemaker. Shoemaker tackled at about the 45 after a short 3-yard gain. And of course, Ackerman will use all the time possible. 2nd and 6 now from the 45.
Clock down to 3:18, 3:17 and counting. Now, if you get a stop here on this play, you might consider calling a timeout.
Second and 6. Pitch it back to Shoemaker.
First down.
Shoemaker gets the first down as he dives across the 40 inside to about the 37, and an Ackerman first down. And the Blue Devils call timeout.
Doug, and it's 1st and 10 now for Ackerman. If Ackerman picks up one more first down, that could very well do it.
Straight ahead through the middle, and Lee Mix and Walter Fleming wrap him up.
Water Valley needs to hurry up and get to the line so the referee can blow the ball in play as soon as possible. Ackerman's out of timeouts, but they don't really want to use a timeout here, so they can't stop the clock. Water Valley's got one timeout left.
2nd and 10. One receiver out to the left. Pitch it back to Shoemaker. Shoemaker looking for the corner. Casey holds him up long enough, but he runs out of bounds at the 32.
I disagree with that call, Doug. I think he got out of bounds. The ball was out of bounds. He kept it running. Now you're under one. Now you're going down to 155, 154.
They're saying he was down before he went out of bounds, I guess. 3rd and 5. Solano running as much time off the clock as he possibly can.
Now, you stop him here now, Doug. If you stop him here, here's where you use that last time out and force a 4th down.
Big 3rd down and 4 right here, or 5 right here. Delay a game. Moves the ball back to the 36-yard line.
Now, that's a big penalty there, Doug, because it stopped the clock. And the clock don't start now till the ball is snapped. So you stop him here, you use your last time out to force the 4th down.
Pitch it back to Shoemaker. Shoemaker running for the corner, but he is.
Now,
Casey Rogers and Ken Mick say no way.
Fourth down. You hold, and Water Valley holds here, the clock will stop on change of possession. It won't start again until Water Valley snaps the ball. A little bit surprised here. I'm a little bit surprised that Ackerman's lined up in punt formation here.
They may be looking to try and snap is back, pressure. And it's going to roll, oh goodness, down at the 5-yard line. And the Blue Devils have 95 yards to go with 54.4 seconds and no timeouts.
Both teams out of timeouts. Clock stops now when you get the first down to move the chain. So Water Valley's really got to get in a hurry here. If you have the opportunity to get out of bounds, you get out of bounds. I was a little bit surprised to see Ackerman punt that ball just for the risk of a punt block, but it turned out great for Ackerman because Water Valley now has got to go about 95 yards.
Reggie Morgan rolls. There, thank you, Mr. Referee. We appreciate that. He had a hold of Charlie's shirt. Penalty marker on the play. Will that be pass interference or defensive holding? Defensive holding.
Should be from the spot of the foul, if I'm not mistaken. And an automatic first down.
Okay, spot of the foul being out around the 15-yard line. Well, that's where they're going to spot the ball. I guess they... Okay, maybe not from the spot of the foul.
I could be wrong about that.
1st and 10 from the 15. 50 seconds left. Rogers back to pass. Heaves one down the middle of the field. Solomon Rocket. Oh, yeah! And there is the yellow hanky one more time.
Defensive back went over Solomon's back. Doug, if Water Valley can get this football, if they can get this football out here to about midfield or close to midfield, then you can start taking some shots. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to at least get out here where you can take a crack at them.
Well, the spot of the foul is right there at the 49.
Well, it's gonna. I think it comes from the previous spot. It comes from the original line of scrimmage.
So that brings the ball.
It's not a spot of the foul. It's not a spot of the foul mark off.
Well, now let's see what it is.
Right where you see the head referee where he's got his foot, that's where the ball's going to be spotted. Solomon's got a huge height advantage out here over Job.
Oh my goodness, excellent.
Got to get up. You got to get up. Casey he's going to spike the ball. He's going to spike the ball.
Got to spike it.
Oof. Now, here, that's key, Doug. Now it's third down. 3rd and 10.
You got 2 shots to get the first down.
You know, and if you can get the ball, say, down to about the 10 or the 5, you might try to kick a field goal to win this thing.
Little confusion here on who's to go where. Rogers heaves it up and he overthrows Rocket.
Yeah,
20.1.
Well, this is the ball game here, Doug. It's 4th down now. You've got to get the first down.
Coach Drury sending into play with Charlie Edwards. And here it is, 4th and 11 actually from the spot. Ball, you got to get to the 40.
You gotta at least get the first down.
You got to get to the 40 and get out of bounds. Rogers, tip, hook and ladder to Pierre Allen. Pierre Allen, you got to get out of bounds, buddy.
The clock's going to stop.
The clock stops. Okay, that's right. For the to move the chains.
Need to spike it. You need to spike it.
Now they move the ball. And they spike it with 9.4 seconds left. Whew. Folks, we ain't had this much excitement in Water Valley in a while. 9.4 seconds left. Win or lose, Lane, one thing you can say for sure, the Devils did not lay down and quit.
No, they fought to the bitter end, that's for sure.
No matter how this thing comes out, you've got to be proud of this football team because they have not quit. Rogers. Incomplete with 5 seconds left.
Well, I think here you've got to go to the end zone. I really don't think you've got enough time now to run 2 plays.
Well, unless you heave it up and hope you get a pass interference call.
True. Need to hurry up.
Brandon Hawkins wings it downfield. Tip. Oh, my goodness, and time expires.
Well, that you had to try something. You had to try something.
And the Ackerman Indians hold on to win a tough contest. Blue Devils have nothing to hang their head about. They played a fine ball game. They hung in there. They were in this thing till the last tick of the clock. And I'll tell you what, that was an excellent effort put forth by the Blue Devils.